She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Lies, lies, lies. We tell ourselves lies almost every single day. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show, the show where we tackle and even go toe-to-toe with the status quo of success. Why? You have a calling on your life, my friend, and there are things that are stopping you from reaching your destiny. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, we reveal some of those inhibitors as well as give you building blocks and build bridges to where you have much more success, a more fulfilled life, a more satisfied life, a life that is much more abundantly and worth living, even a purpose-filled life instead of a life that is just meandering here and there and going to and fro. Come on, I grew up on welfare, pregnant at 17, homeless at 21, but millionaire by 23. Today, a multi-millionaire. 100% of my profits from my company goes straight to taking care of the poor after, of course, the expenses of taking care of a staff is done. So look, you can live a purpose-filled life. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter even what the journey has looked like. What matters is what you do today and from this day forward. So when I say that there's lies that we tell ourselves, there's actually belief systems that we have that cause us to bring frustration into our lives. There are belief systems that have been brought in by lies that others have said to us, that others have lived, and other lies that we have come up all by ourselves. You know, like what? Well, you might lie to yourself every day. I have a couple of them written down here. I wanted to share them with you. Okay, for example, we tell ourselves this all the time. I'm going to wake up early and go to the gym. No, you're not. Okay, I don't need to write it down because I will totally remember. Lie. I'm just going to hit the snooze button just once. Lie. The bottom line is that lies can be so destruction, and we're setting ourselves up for failure instead of setting ourselves up for success. You see, a real decision is followed by action. But when you just kind of flippantly say, oh, I'm going to do this, and you made no decision to do it, you did not back that decision with a plan, a proper plan of action. If you have continuously set yourself up for failure, today is the day that has to stop. We have to identify some of the things, some of the time wasters, some of the destructive habits that we have that are hurting our earning potential and hurting relationships at home, as well as stopping us from reaching our full potential. So I've got a question for you. What kind of lies are you telling yourself? What things have you said? And by the way, the definition of an excuse is a well-planned lie. Do you give excuses? Is there someone else to blame for the situation that you're in? No, but Dani, really, it really is this. There is always a solution. But sometimes you got to attack the lies and the beliefs that you have in your head to find out why are you thinking the way that you're thinking? Why are you approaching the thing that you're approaching the way you're approaching it? Is it getting the result that you want? Is the busyness that you're doing in an activity the best way to go about it? Is it actually producing? Is busyness producing? I had a conversation just yesterday with a client who was saying, yeah, I have to catch up on email, somewhere around midnight because, I get interrupted so much throughout the day, and I feel like I really need to put in my 8 hours. I want to have integrity. I want to be ethically solid. So if I'm getting interrupted 15 times in the day and people are coming to my office throughout the whole day, well, then I'm not putting in my 8 hours. I'm not giving my solid piece of excellence into work. So I have to bring my computer home so I can do email at night. Whew. Well, the question I had for this individual was, okay, so why did you teach everyone that it was okay for them to interrupt you throughout the day? Well, I'm trying to be nice, I'm trying to be cordial. I certainly don't want to give them a look of like, I'm working, please leave me alone. There is more than one way to skin a cat. You've heard me say that before here on the show. I learned that 19 years ago. It was one of the best things that I needed to hear at the time when I heard it from a multi-millionaire. And that's what he said. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Sometimes we get ourselves fixated on something and we hold to it. We defend that position. We're not going to let go of this thing. Or it's like it's our life, that there's a tsunami happening. We're holding on to a palm tree, as here comes the wave. There's the wind. I mean, wow, we're holding on. We're holding on. There's more than one way to skin a cat. We're going to find some solutions today together to shore up this busyness that is not producing results. Because at the end of the day, what gets us paid in the marketplace? At the end of the day, what causes us to generate an income, and if we want to generate more income, then that means we're going to have to get rid of busyness in life and start focusing more on the result that we're after, because sometimes perfection does not produce results. And so in the case of this client who, she's putting in extra long days because I have to perfectly get at least 8 hours worth of work in, there's another way to do it. In fact, let me give you the suggestion I give her. I said, put earbuds in your ears and it will look like you're on the phone. Even if you want to have a headset that has a boom mic, because you often are on the phone. You have a headset with a boom mic, have your phone right there on your desk. You could be listening to music as you're working. Someone walks by, you just smile and wave and keep doing what you're doing. You could be listening to somebody else on the phone, or you could be typing out notes while you're on the phone. But just show yourself to be productive. It doesn't mean that you are going to ignore people. Smile and keep going. That shows them that you are not open and available for what was supposed to be a 15-second chit-chat that turned into a 15-minute chit-chat, and then you're completely off task, you're unfocused, you now are distracted in other things, and boom, there you go. So there's one quick little tip of what you could do today to help less busyness and more production, because you get paid for producing. You don't get paid for excuses. All right, so Jerry Lindsay from Knoxville, Tennessee, come on, what kind of lies, what kind of excuses, what kind of things are stopping you from being more productive in life, Jerry?
Oh, exactly the same thing that you just went over, Miss.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah. Nailed it on the head, and I was just like, but those are things that I've had to learn how to stop. But the biggest thing that stops me is I want to help everyone. I want to help everyone else, and I always want to take on their problems. And it's so hard for me to remember that, hey, I have a goal, I have a purpose, I've got to take care of me to eventually be able to help others out.
Well, and then in that goal and in that purpose, you have responsibilities to other individuals and commitments that you've made to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be part of this equation here. There's a job that you're required to do, and there's a certain amount of time that you're required to do it in. And if we're because we can be pulled, right? We can be pulled in 1,000 different directions. There's so much pain and suffering in the world. There's so many people that we feel like we can help. But at the same time, if we deny our responsibilities and we're not using wisdom, because it's emotion that pulls us to want to solve everybody else's problems at work, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And some of it is ego, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tell me how.
Sometimes, I'm sorry, what was that?
Tell me how it's ego sometimes.
Oh, because if we can fix one little problem, then, like for me, if one person were to come to me for advice about a particular situation, maybe I can't help but to want to fix that problem altogether, because that's the control freak in me. And like you mentioned earlier, perfection doesn't always produce results.
Yeah.
I don't have to fix every little thing. It's okay to share my knowledge and the things that I've learned with others and leave it at that. I don't actually have to go in and fix their problems for them, because then that just puts me behind on everything that I've done, and therefore I've let others down on the duties and responsibilities that I've taken upon myself, and so forth and so forth.
Yeah. Okay, so even let's look at it. Okay, Sally comes over to you and she's like, I have this problem. Can we talk for a few minutes? Right? She comes.
We all know Sally.
We really do.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe it's not Sally. Maybe it's someone that you really enjoy working with, and it's someone that you enjoy talking to. You know what I mean? And it's someone that you really gel with. I think those are some of the bigger distractors, honestly. It's not just Sally, but I think it's also the one that you love conversing with and love solving problems with. But the reality is that what could be said in that moment when they're interrupting a task that you're doing? What could be said? What could be done right there? That rather than stopping your task and putting your focus on that person, tell me, what's another way to solve that problem?
I've learned that it's always okay if someone comes up to me, and even if they politely, try to excuse what they're doing, it's always okay to take those few extra seconds to finish up what you're doing, and then just, politely tell them. I mean, it's not the end of the world, and yeah, I've learned that some people will get upset and think that, hey, well, so-and-so's mad and whatever. Well, first of all, stop wearing your feelings on your sleeve. We're here together to get a job done, and always later on you can address that situation. Hey, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to focus and get the job done.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, most of the time it's about something that isn't work-related or, in my personal experience, it's always, wanting to catch up about something or the weekend or a problem or so. Definitely, I've had to learn that the hard way, but it works. It's okay.
Yeah. I find it very interesting how many people, you said you wear their emotions on their sleeve. It's more like they wear their third grade emotions on their sleeve.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm serious. It's more like the third.
Absolutely.
They're not my friend anymore. They're not paying attention to me. They're not recognizing me enough. You're like, grow up or go back to school. To the third grade, so you can learn how to grow it, because this is the workplace and you need to be a mature adult. You are an adult. Now it's time to mature. And hello, we're here to work. We're not here to socialize. We're not here to talk about how the weekend went. We're not here to talk about some problem I had with my spouse over the weekend. This is not the appropriate place for that. Okay, so I think you've done a really good job, and I love that you brought this to the light. I think also what I would say is that, yes, take a few minutes to finish up the task, but it's more importantly, I don't know, I might try the earbud thing. And just simply smile and just go, sorry, I gotta keep going, you know what I mean? And just make it funny about it, as long as it's done with a smile. And then it could be, you know what, I'd love to talk to you. What time is your break? Do you have a break at 12:45? Let's meet in the lunchroom at 12:45, and then let's talk. It's okay to put it to a different time. We're supposed to have breaks throughout the day according to, labor laws, and people can take those breaks. I think it's important for people to take those breaks. It's terrible when they don't, because when they don't take breaks, they don't get their brain refreshed. When you don't get your brain refreshed, you have less patience. You have less endurance. You have less of a clear mind when you don't take those 15-minute breaks or that hour lunch break. And so it's really simple to say, hey, I'd love to talk to you. I'm on a deadline, got to finish this. What time is your next break? All right, cool. My break is at the same time. Let's meet in the lunchroom. Bam, done. Chances are they probably forgot about it, or you have that limited time right there, and then it's back to work. And you're still the nice guy. You're still able to help them. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more solutions to those work problems right after this.
There's one thing holding you back from being your most productive at work. Do you know what it is? Find out next on The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
I am so far behind, but it's okay. I'll eventually catch up. There's another lie that we have a tendency of telling ourselves, and then we end up in, yes, that place of being overwhelmed and feeling like, ay, there's too much to do. I'm so far behind. I will never catch up. You know, you don't ever want to put yourself in a cycle that never ends. And so many people do. The busyness of life, the busyness at work doesn't necessarily produce results. And we have got to become a people that if we want to be successful, we have got to become a people that is focused on producing results in the quickest, shortest fashion possible. In the quickest, shortest fashion possible that gets the results. I used to be that person that was all about perfection, and perfection was killing me, choking out the creativity in me, choking out life out of me, versus focus on the result. Get the thing done. It doesn't mean get it done sloppy. It means get it done and get results. And if we focus on that, we're going to increase our value out there into the marketplace. So what is stopping you? What kind of things seem to be hindering you from the kind of success that it is that you want? What do you do when you are behind? What things are causing you to be behind and get sucked up in busyness and not producing the results that you want? Joining me now is Leanne Fraser from Ontario, Canada. Leanne, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hello, Dani.
Hi. So what about you, Leanne? What is hindering you? What things are stopping you from producing results, but instead producing busyness?
A combination of many things. One is my family, money, and health.
Okay, Leanne, what do you mean your family is stopping you from producing results?
Well, I've been having a lot of issues with how they're having a bad day, and then I'm starting to have boundaries where I'm not getting sucked into that because I got to get a schedule going, and that's the part where I can't take on everybody's problems. They got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and you know what you'll find is when you let people figure their stuff out, they seem to do a pretty good job of it. And they like their own solution they came up with because, you know, when you give them a solution, they didn't listen to it anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Which means you wasted time. Wasted time giving someone a solution that isn't going to follow the solution. That doesn't quite produce results. That produces busyness. So, Leanne, the main thing I think I'm going to say to you is that you gave me 3 excuses. There's 3 excuses as to why you're not producing as much as you want to. Number 1, you said was family. Well, it's your choice for your family to be your distractor, or it's your choice to let them handle their own stuff. When you're with your family, be with your family. But when you are working, you need to work wholeheartedly with excellence and diligence and leave that thing in a different compartment, and you come to work and you get your job done. Okay, health and finances. Now, are you 100% control into what you put into your mouth?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay, and are there certain foods that you might want to stay away from that causes bad health? You know, there are a list of foods out there that cause bad health, right?
Yes.
Right, and there's a list of foods that actually cause pain in the body too, right? Swelling and pain and disease, right?
That's right.
Okay, and so who's in control of your hand that holds the food and your mouth?
I am.
So we solved the health problem, didn't we? Okay, and then finances. Okay, finances. Who's in complete control of who spends something? Who's in charge of Leanne's spendings? Money.
I am.
You are? Like no one has a gun to your head saying, use the credit card to buy X. No? There's no gun to your head?
Well, if you're talking about credit card people or stuff like that, but they have no control over what I do.
Meaning who has control over Leanne's spending?
Me.
You do. So you have control of your own spending, you have control over what goes in your mouth, and you have control over what kind of drama you get involved in with your family, right?
Right.
Right. That means you're in control of your own life. Nobody else can be used as an excuse for the finances, the health, or the family. It's you and how you choose to approach it. So if I were you, I would definitely leave the family in the family compartment. When you're with them, go ahead, be about them, love on them, encourage them. Done with that, now I'm working. And now I'm going to work with excellence and diligence. I'm going to be wise with the money that I'm not going to spend on foolish things. And as far as health goes, I'm going to every day prepare my body so that it works optimally. So my emotions are strong and not weak, so I can think more clearly. Sodas make you think bad. Sugar hurts you. Good fruits and vegetables. Awesome. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Prior to getting to Dani Johnson's First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely broke. We just filed bankruptcy. We lost our home to foreclosure and we were on food stamps. After the second day of her event, we figured out where all our money was going. We got ourselves out of debt in 3 months. We paid off $18,000 worth of debt and are completely debt-free. And now we've finally created a life of our dreams. We've made a 6-figure business and we're just doing everything that we want. So if you're thinking about coming to First Steps to Success, you've got to make it happen. Sign up right now and make sure you don't miss it.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was hopelessly lost in addiction. My relationships with people, coworkers, family, friends failed. I was struggling under the bondage of debt, and I had no clear vision or purpose for my life. After attaining my first steps to success, I've been able to pay off $7,000 in debt in about 4.5 months. I have a clear vision and purpose for my life. I can honestly say that my addictions are a thing of the past. If you're interested in changing your life in whatever way, in whatever area, you need to log into DaniJohnson.com and you need to be at the next First Steps to Success.
Prior to coming to First Steps, I was miserable. I never talked to people because I thought I was shy, I thought I was boring, and I thought that I was destined to be alone forever. After coming to First Steps to Success, I broke through all of those lies. I built confidence and I used the skills that I've learned there to get myself an amazing job where I will be put quickly into a position of leadership. So if you're ready to find out who you are, why you are the way you are, and how to get new skills to dramatically change your life, you need to join me at the very next First Steps to Success. No excuses, no delays, get registered now.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Massachusetts. And before plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was buried under a sea of self-doubt, fear, and my communication skills were non-existent. Sales non-existent as well. But after attending First Steps to Success, my sales have quadrupled, my fear has been lifted, and my relationships are better than ever because I communicate better than ever. If you want your life to turn around, all your dreams start coming to fruition, you are going to be at First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging in to Dani Johnson, my husband and I were drowning in a sea of debt. I had broken relationships all around me of the ones that I cared most about, and I had started a company that was losing more money than it was making. And after plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me. So I don't know about you, maybe you're making all the money you need to, maybe you're doing great, maybe your relationships are phenomenal, but if they're not, I encourage you to get to the next First Steps to Success.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
It's the Dani Johnson Show.
I know I'm slammed already, Dani, but I will eventually be able to get it done. I'll put in some extra hours to get it done. Lie. Come on, what is that actually producing? Have you said yes to too many things? Have you stretched yourself too thin? Have you then caused yourself to get stressed out? I was in a conversation yesterday with somebody who was in the same exact situation, and food seems to be her stress reliever. It used to be alcohol, but now it's sugar and carbohydrates. And she's like, I have got to kill this. I have to stop this. But stress is the thing that makes me it causes me to go eat these things. And I said, well, I think the important thing is to cause the reason for the stress. Oh, I already know what that is. I don't know if you know what that is. Because stress doesn't happen when you're stressed. Stress actually is created way before. It's a bunch of little decisions that happen way before the fruit of stress has showed up in your life. You gotta look at that, because stress is an inhibitor to your earning power. Stress is an inhibitor. It's a roadblock to a fruitful, harmonious, passionate marriage. Stress and being under the pressure and slavery of stress, it truly is something that actually takes years off of your life. No joke. They have done studies, the medical community has done studies and have proven that stress causes heart attacks. It can cause cancer. Stress can cause strokes. Stress literally takes years off of your life. And if you find yourself to be someone that is dealing with stress and you're slammed and you're behind and I'll just put more hours in and I'll get it done, hold on a second. You got to look at what caused that. Did you say yes to things that you should not have? Have you spread yourself too thin? Have you overcommitted to things? Did you miscalculate what you were committing to? Did you misinterpret what you were committing to? Is what somebody has asked for you, that task that needs to be done, is your expectation different than what actually needs to be done? Have they given you 5 steps and you added an extra 5 on top of it? I've worked with somebody in the past where they love to overcomplicate things. I've worked really hard with her for years of undercomplicating, like make things simple, 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 simple. It's simplicity that gets results. It is not this, I'm going to do 10 steps instead of 5 steps, because that shows that I'm going the extra mile. Not necessarily the truth. We want to under promise and over deliver, not over commit and say yes to too many things. So, but what about you? What are some things that are stopping you from becoming more productive? That's the question I have for you right now. So we're going to the phones. We got Linda from Ocean City, New Jersey. Linda, what about you? What do you feel is stopping you from producing the results that you desire?
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
You were just saying all those things, what's holding you back, and my answer is yes, yes, yes. I'm just nodding my head. Yes, I've got a whole page of things here. Like, of course, that's the perfectionism that is so huge for me. And I'm not saying it's in me, but I'm also now seeing it in my daughter, which hurts me so much.
Oh, baby doll. Linda, tell me why that hurts you that you see that in your daughter.
The frustration that she goes through with not being able to get things perfect, and I can see it in me and my business, and it hinders me from picking up the phone and making the connections when I have so many people waiting
Yep.
for my phone call.
Yep.
It's crazy. I keep myself overwhelmed.
Yep.
The focus has been a problem. I use all the excuses. It's my marriage. It's where I live. It's maybe if I get a new house, a new headset, more leads, more training, it'll be different tomorrow. I get ready to get ready. It takes me 2 hours to get the perfect position in the chair. It's ridiculous. And I am in such a rut. And it's gotten to the point where the guilt from putting my business on the back burner and being in this hamster wheel is just it's painful because my husband, he drives a rig, he's gone all the time, and he's supportive of my business, but to be able to bring him home out of the truck, and I don't know.
Okay, so listen, Linda, I'm going to use something that you said to help bring you to a place of breakthrough. You said you see the same thing in your daughter. Where do you think she's learning it from?
Me.
So when you said it pains you to see it in your daughter, why does it pain you to see it in your daughter?
It's because it's painful for me.
What is painful for you? Yeah, what is the pain?
The angst of trying to strive for perfection and never getting it.
Yeah.
And it's because I know it's a hindrance to my success.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to be a hindrance for her.
But you realize that's what you're teaching her.
Yes.
Where did you learn how to do this? So perfectly.
I'm so perfectly? My perfect teacher?
Were your mom or dad like this?
I don't think that they were. Maybe it was my striving to please them.
Did you feel that you could not please them?
I don't think that I was pleasing to my parents.
Okay.
At all. But I had wanted to be, being daddy's little girl kind of thing. And I am the black sheep. I'm not the college graduate, and have dealt with addictions and things like that as well.
Okay.
And I'm almost feeling as though I'm addicted to the disappointment that I put myself through.
Ooh, girlfriend. That somehow in a sick and twisted way, that the pain that you keep beating yourself up with because of past mistakes that you've made, it's like due to you. That somehow you have to suffer because of the mistakes that you've made in your past.
That's probably reflective in this in a big way. I went through something I've had eating disorders as well, and the things that I would tell myself in the past was very undeserving.
Like what?
As far as food went, in order to lose the weight that I wanted to lose. And I think and I realized this yesterday as I was talking to my daughter, that, I don't deserve, could be I don't deserve love, I don't deserve success, I don't deserve food, all those things that I programmed into my subconscious years ago.
Yes. Okay, so when you say that you always wanted to be daddy's little girl and you never felt like you were your parents critical?
Yes, I think so.
No, I need an answer. Is it yes or no? Not an I think. Okay.
Yes.
So mom and dad, they loved you, but you felt that they were critical. How were they critical? What would they say to you?
It was always corrective criticism, as it was told to me.
Give me an example.
You're not thin enough.
Ooh. Keep going.
My mom said, I'll give you $1 for every pound you lose. That was painful. You don't deserve to be happy. That was a biggie. Getting the grades to get into college, because that was important.
Wow. Why did your mom want you to be thin?
I was musical, and I guess maybe they didn't support me in that.
How? How did they not support you in music?
Just the positive reinforcement that maybe I was needing.
Meaning you didn't get any positive reinforcement?
Pardon me?
You didn't get any positive reinforcement about your gifting?
It was financial. They would pay for the instruction and things like that, but emotionally, no.
Gotcha. So basically, you felt like you weren't perfect.
Exactly.
And you weren't good enough.
Exactly.
And you weren't thin enough.
No way.
So you've been striving for how many years to be perfect enough, thin enough, smart enough, good enough?
More than I'd like to admit. At least 30, 35,
How many more years do you want to do that?
0.
Are you sure?
Then where am I going to get my feeling of, oh, okay, I don't deserve and I'm disappointed, and now I feel a lot better because I'm feeling disappointed.
Yep.
This is bad.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing, Linda. I used to live the exact same way. I had the same exact cycle. This is a cycle in your life. Now, you said that you had battled with addictions, food addictions, and I don't know what the other addictions were, but have you ever gone through any kind of coaching to help work you through, and accountability to help you work through and be free from this cycle of disappointment, this cycle of self-hate?
I have done some coaching, but it was not very effective, and it was very expensive. So
and of course, you didn't get to the root.
One-on-one, yes, but it wasn't as effective as I had liked.
Yeah.
Or hoped.
Yeah. Wow. You know, I've dealt with the same thing. When we have a belief, and again, it's a lie that we believe, and if the lie says we're not good enough, we're not perfect enough, we're not thin enough, we have created this city in our head, for example, that has graffiti all over it that speaks the same lie to us. And as we do that, we create a life that proves it to us. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Coming up next, Dani helps Linda confront and beat the cycle of defeat in her life, and it might be the answer you've been looking for.
But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row right in the center next to some amazing people because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experience different things, and we experience a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there's someone in our church, the pastor. And so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are y'all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I used to have this lie in my head that said I was fat. Where'd the lie come from? My dad, the man that raised me, who I thought was my father, but he wasn't my blood father, but he's the man that raised me. And he would say that I was fat. And I was not, but boy, did I believe him. In fact, I had a weight problem for 4 years. I gained and lost 50 pounds 4 times from 18 to 22 without being pregnant. In fact, these were after pregnancies that I had gained all that weight. And why? I had a tape in my head. I had graffiti in my head, trash in my head that said I was fat. Joining me right now is Linda, who finds herself in a very same situation, but not just the fat tape, but she also has the I'm not worthy tape, I'm not good enough tape, I'm not perfect enough, therefore I'm not lovable. And she feels like she's passing this on to her daughter as well. Linda, I want to encourage you strongly that if you begin to work on yourself in the same way that I began to work on myself, there is healing and redemption and freedom from this kind of thinking. And I know that you said, I've done this for 30 years. I don't want to do this anymore. And now you're seeing the fruit that's in your baby, which then brings on more guilt and shame, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't it? More guilt, more shame. Now you feel like I'm a failure as a mother. I'm a total loser. What's the point? Eventually, I want you to tell me, eventually, this cycle of disappointment in oneself, the cycle of hatred towards self, where does this eventually lead to?
Destructive behavior.
Yeah. And what else? What would you say the end of the road is?
Basically giving up.
Yep.
It's either give up or change really fast. Not really fast, because I want what I want when I want it.
Yep.
But getting out of myself and giving up the control.
Yep. Yep. So I'm gonna advise a couple of things for you, and you can do them if you choose to, but I know that they're going to work. I can't tell you how many people I've seen completely healed, set free, and delivered. Number one, I know that there's anxiety in you also. It's the fear of failing, the fear of confirming the cycle of beliefs. We got to attack those beliefs. You have to attack them, and you have to replace them with new beliefs. And one by one, you got to take these things down. And one thing that is the great start to do it is to forgive your mom and dad. You know, they grew up in a generation that did not show a lot of love or affection. And unfortunately, that has hurt a whole generation. Our generation, it has hurt tremendously. which out of our generation, our parents, turned into drug addicts because their parents didn't show a lot of love and affection. So now it's, I want love and I'm going to get it from wherever I want it. And there was lots of rebellion and lots of drugs, lots of trying to hide our emotions, lots of covering up the voids that were in our lives. And then that produced your and my generation who has all kinds of anxiety and fear, and we're numbed out and we are distracted and we just feel like we're producing nothing. That's the fruit of just 2 generations of doing something that wasn't necessarily wise. I don't think any parent wakes up and says, how can I screw up my kid? I really believe that doesn't exist. However, we have a tendency of passing on bad habits to the next generation, which then can screw up the kid. But I believe you as a mother, Linda, that you will be the one that's going to break the cycle. I believe that you love your daughter enough to change some limiting beliefs that you have, to go after these lies and which have been planted inside your head since you were a little girl, that you have acted out these lies instead of coming to the revelation that you were fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully made, meaning you were well thought of and about when you were knitted together in your mother's womb. And that there is a Father in heaven who adores you. He approves of you. He knows all of your faults and he knows all of your strengths. He knows every single freckle that is on your body. He knows every single hair that is numbered on your head. And when he created you, he stepped away, he looked and he said, behold, this is one in whom I'm well pleased. Wow, she takes my breath away. Just as the same as when you looked at your little girl for the very first time when she was delivered from your womb. You want the very best for your little girl. Your Creator wants the very best for you. What we've done is we have exalted the thoughts and the words of man higher than the thoughts and the words of Almighty God, the Creator who created you and has a plan for your life. We have to break the ties, the emotional pain, by forgiving those that we feel did not give us what we needed at that time. Your parents grew up in a different time. They did the best that they could. They probably did the same thing that was done to them. It doesn't make it right, but I know that they loved you even though it didn't feel like they loved you. I want you to stop calling yourself the black sheep of the family. I want you to stop rehearsing the things that they spoke over you. And I want you to break them with the power of forgiveness. And I want you to train your brain about the identity that you have in the God who created you, as well as brought forth the Messiah to die on a cross to cover you of all of your sins and all of your mistakes. And as you surrender fully to God and you ask him to show you who you are, and for you to be able to walk in that, ask him daily to heal you and to guide you to places and people that can help be an instrument for that healing. And I promise you, as you allow yourself to be surrendered and begin to believe through the same repetition, it was through repetition that you were criticized and condemned by the family. It'll be the same repetition that you are going to be built up, edified, and encouraged. So it's just words. That's all it is. So what we put into this mind is exactly what we get out. And Linda, if you do not have this yet, if you don't have a copy of First Steps to Wealth, I want to give you a copy right now. If you don't have it, you need to get it. And I'm going to give it to you for free. You can download it right now if you call 866-760-8255, and you can begin reading page 1 and then page 2 and then page 3. And I want you to hear exactly step by step how I was able to break these particular things. Again, 866-760-8255. If you want the physical copy, you can pay the shipping and handling to get it to your house, and I'll give you the $15 book. But if you don't care about the physical copy, you can get the ebook right now. Call 866-760-8255. Get it right now. Begin to start reading, begin to pray, and allow God to heal you from the inside out. Okay, we've also got Echo Royal from New Bern, North Carolina. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Love your name.
Thank you.
So, I see you have huge plans and you seem to get stuck.
Yes, very much so.
And what do you get stuck in?
I'm not sure if it's procrastination or self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
I have a list of things I want to do, and I get sidetracked.
The reality is,
don't even get to the list.
Yes, yes. And so everything starts with habits. And I don't know if this will be helpful to you or not, but this is what I have to do. I have to keep my cell phone in a different room when I go to bed at night. And let me tell you why. I have to hedge the success that I want, and I have to hedge the plan that I want by setting myself up for success. And for example, a cell phone that has access to email or has access to social media, that has access to text messaging, that has access to pictures, whatever it is that from that device that is distracting, keep the devices out and away from you when you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning. Don't go to it first thing, so that now you are going to decide, how am I going to start this day? And you start it according to what you want. When we continue back from the break, I'm going to tell you how I start my day to keep myself on track. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, I was a depressed, hopeless, suicidal drug addict. I had no vision for my life. I absolutely hated people, hated myself. I felt shackled by my debt, and I had toxic relationships. Since plugging in, I've been drug-free for almost 18 months. I paid off nearly $14,000 worth of debt in 14 months. I've completely restored my relationships with my friends and my family. I have a vision for my life now, and I'm actually live and not exist anymore. So I don't know if you have debt or not, or if your life's going perfectly the way you want it to go. But if not, I highly recommend you get registered today for the next First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, we were just lost. We had no hope and light at the end of the tunnel, and we were drowning in debt. After coming to First Steps to Success and plugging into DaniJohnson.com, our income has doubled. We have paid off over $76,000 of debt in just 45 months. My husband and my communication skills have just raised us through the roof, and my husband has cut back his hours, making more income. If you want results like these, you better get to First Steps to Success.
I have been plugging into Dani Johnson for the last 8 years, believe it or not. And people say, why so long? Well, because there's a lot to do in life, and it has changed every area of my life. My business has exploded, my spiritual life has been unmatched, and my relationship with my wife and my family has just been fantastic. We've paid off over $200,000 of debt in just 2 years. We're debt-free, and I just could not be happier. But if you want to change any area of your life, whether it's your business, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your financial situation, or getting out of debt, or your spiritual life, I would tell you, you cannot afford to miss First Steps to Success. It's just been a blessing to me and my family. So I really invite you to just get online and get your ticket to the next First Steps to Success. Thank you very much.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
It's so true, isn't it? I mean, you wake up in the morning, your head is already going just 1,000 miles an hour, and it gets busy. And there's something that I have found in today's world. With technology, gosh, there's more distractions than ever, It's shocking how much so many things can pull on you. It used to be it was just my kids, but now it's this device, and devices, whether it's an iPad, your iPhone, or your computer, these devices that we have somehow made a little too personal into our personal lives, where we take it into the bathroom with us, it sleeps next to us at our bedside. My recommendation is, if you want to start your day on purpose, don't start your day with a device anywhere near you. I keep my device in my home office. It plugs in over there, it stays there, and I don't touch it until I'm done doing the things that are really important for me to start my day. For me, starting my day in peace sets me up for a much better day. What does that relate to? I start with reading wisdom. First thing in the morning, I start with wisdom. From the wisdom that I'm reading, then my face is on the floor praying and crying out to my God and praising Him for giving me another day. Praising Him for creating the heavens and the earth and parting the Red Sea and bringing the Messiah who died on the cross for my sins. I bring before Him, after I'm done praising Him, a list of petitions. But only after I am saying with my own mouth how big He is, how awesome He is, and all the great things that He's done throughout my life, all the miracles that He has brought. It's because as I build Him up with my mouth and with my heart to myself, you know what? Then it shows me how small the list of petitions it is that I have. My faith is encouraged, and I'm starting my day with peace and faith, and I'm starting it with Him. And asking Him to bless my day, asking Him to lead me by His Spirit that day, that I would be wise, that I would make wise choices, that I would have wise responses. So, and 100% of the time, I don't bat 100%. But I know this, when I don't start my day like that, I ain't batting nothing. I mess up the whole entire day when I start it with this, I gotta check this email, I gotta do this, I gotta make this post, oh my gosh. Then you're running throughout the day, and now all you've done is open up the door to all kinds of stress, and now you're distracted and you're unfocused and you're not being able to get a lot done. So to me, the answer for busyness is to start with production. Don't start with distractions. Start with production and get those things done. And then you pretty much build a muscle that will strengthen you from days moving ahead to continue to stay strong. One of the things that I do also in the morning after I'm done with those other two things is I check this page for kingsransom.org to see where the project is. We want to build 1,000 homes, so that's in the focus of me. Building 1,000 homes for the extreme poor, people who can't put food on the table. They don't have homes. They literally homeless. They're living in shacks. There's no water. There's no food. There's no electricity. The thing is a mess, my friend. And here, when I see that, it makes me so grateful for what I have, but in turn also puts a passion in me to help these people. I'd love for you to help us. If you go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, we're building 1,000 homes for the extreme poor. And it only costs $5,200 to build a home for them. kingsransom.org. You and a group of friends could pull together $5,200. Your kid's third grade can pull together $3,200 to help provide a home for a family like Audalis, who's a single mom who can't feed her kids. kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. Click on Santa Pancha. That's it for us for today. God bless you. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you tomorrow with another exciting topic that's going to help you have greater success.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.